Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Today we're going to talk about the differences between Russia and America. Recently, I had the chance to speak with a client in Russia. How cool is that? As a motivational speaker, I've had the chance to meet a lot of people from all around America, but I have had clients in Canada, Argentina, from France and Germany, and we met in Amsterdam, and now I've had a client from Russia. So I've had 4 plus multiple experiences, I guess you could say, with international clients. Now, just recently I had the chance to climb Mount Elbrus. That is the tallest mountain in Russia, but it is also the tallest mountain in Europe. And I had the chance to go there. So when I did the talk with my Russian client that I picked up while I was doing my climbing, I got the chance to interact with them and learn a little bit about the culture, the people, their fears, and their thoughts. Now, initially I thought about this talk being, is America equal to Russia or Russia equal to America? Now people would say, oh no, wait, hear me out. Now, the income level disparity between Russia and the United States is huge. I learned that in at least southern Russia, that the average income is around $300 per month. Not per day, which would be about 70 or 80,000 a year, but per month. Imagine $300 per month is what you've got to live off of. I was told that Russians actually tend to work a lot of secondary, if not third or tertiary jobs in order to make ends meet. Sounds familiar. I live in Jackson Hole, and a lot of people work 2, 3, I don't know of anybody that works 4 jobs. That's pretty crazy, but it's definitely possible. People in Russia, that is just the normal deal. And it's a function of where they're living, what the economics are, and have the prices gone up? No. So you say, oh my gosh, $300 a month, that's horrible. Well, things are cheap in Russia relative to America. Let me give you an example. I rode, in order to get up to the base camp of Elbrus, Mount Elbrus, I had to ride three gondola rides all the way up. In the United States, that would have cost me, let's see, the ski lift at Jackson is $110 or $120 a month at the Jackson Hole Mountain Resorts. That's right. So to me, $110, $120, I was like, I like my skiing enough, but that is really expensive. So when I was climbing on Mount Elbrus, I was given my pass and they said, please don't lose this. It is really expensive. And then they told me the price in rubles, so I had to calculate that sucker out. And then only $20. Man, just like 3 people showing up to Starbucks, we blow $20 like that. Now, is it wise? That's another issue and another topic for a different video. But what's relative to Russians is not the same as in America. But consider that if your income is lower, much lower, $20 is almost 10% of your monthly income there. Ouch. So let's look at your monthly income. Let's see, if you make $60,000 a year, divided by 12, that's $5,000 a month. Then you pay for a 1-day ski pass at $120. Yeah, you're still doing like 1, 2, maybe 3%. I should have done the math, but I'm just trying to think on my feet. That's always fun in a video. But really, it's still not that big a deal. So even though it's extremely expensive, you look at the difference there, it's like, woo, wow. So interestingly, when I went to Russia, everybody told me, oh my gosh, Moscow's so expensive. It was terrible. I'll do a whole other video on what Russia was like, but you'll roll with this. Of everything in travel and different countries is relative. The difference between America and Russia in the financial perspective is huge. They have a gazillion dollars in oil reserves and mineral. They've got tons of stuff. But what I'm driving at is not the financial measure of the people, of the culture that really matters. It's what the people care about that matters. Ooh, is my shirt too bright? Yeah, that's probably too bright. Oh well. The difference I found was when I was asked, what's important to you? Oh, my friends, my family, making sure we're all healthy. And then I asked my Russian clients, like, what's important to you guys? And they said, well, health is very important to us, and our family being happy and having enough money to pay for our home and our food and the things we need. Sounds very similar, doesn't it? Okay. What about school? So I got the chance to see a Russian school with children that did their drawings, and they put drawings on the wall. What do you think Russian school children draw and put on the wall? Just take a guess. If you're my age and older, so I'm 44 right now, imagine what Russia is in your vision. Hut, 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 rifles, missiles, everybody, Mikhail Gorbachev, huge military, all that. Did the kids draw big old campaign hats, tanks, missiles, weapons? No. The kids drew horses, houses, their family. I don't know if I saw a car there. A beautiful pastoral landscape with a tree. Everything that the children that would have drawn things in America, did I say that right? The things that children drew or would draw in America are exactly the same things that children would draw in Russia. Interesting. Okay, there's one equate, right? Not all the same, but very interesting. The children arguably aren't that different. Emotionally, however, when I was talking to a couple kids, and that the parent and the instructor said, well, they're very curious about you, but they don't like to show emotion. That's not really a Russian thing to do. Okay, I would say that's a huge difference between the Russians and Americans. We're not like Italians where they're, oh my gosh. And that's not being racist, because Italians really do that. And I know, and I have Italian friends, and they even joke about themselves talking with their hands. Americans, we do some of this. Italians are crazy, but Russians, we will not move. We will not smile. We will speak. It will be curt, but it will be to the point. Hilarious. I love my Russian guides. They're like, well, yeah, of course. Eventually, I was able to break them out, and they did smile. Yeah, that was so hilarious. That when my Russian guide finally smiled, I was like, whoa! Now, it's not to say that the culture is absolutely unsmiling. My client, female people that brought me in, the client, Lori, she smiled quite a bit. So that was pretty cool. But it wasn't this constant, hi, I'm from LA, and I have a smile because the Botox has made my lips like this, and drool. So it's different. You can tell the difference there. It's not dramatic. People aren't super marching around, but showing emotion in Russia is I wouldn't say it's frowned upon, because I'm not Russian, but the culture is definitely different there. So emotional content, Americans versus Russians. Russians are definitely more stoic. And you can imagine why. If you lived under the Soviet Empire, and it was an empire, I would say, yeah, no smiling. People, smiling was, shall we say, frowned upon because something was going wrong. One of the classic jokes, not so funny, but the joke was that the Russian government pretends to pay us, and we, the workers, pretend to work. Very different. Under the new, I don't even know what the government system is in Russia, because Putin's been president forever, lifetime dictator, lifetime president. You know, I'm not a politician, so I have no clue. Now, speaking of that, very interestingly, eventually the conversation versus virtually every place I've ever gone in the world, they always ask, what do you think of your president, or some say prime minister, because that's how they have their system. And the client said, well, you know, we really don't like President Trump. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Why don't you like him? Well, the things we see on TV shows is very terrible. It's anti-Russian, very brash, and all these things. Okay, so whatever your opinion is, just hold on. But then I said, well, what do you think of your president, Putin? I think it's Putin, sorry, Putin. And they said, oh, we love Putin because He helps Russians. He really helps build up our country. He's creating a better Russia for us. Ooh, did you see that coming? If you ask virtually any American, at least the people I know, not a lot of people, but what do you think of President Putin in Russia? Yeah, right. He's evil. He's building an empire. He's against America. And that's because that's what we see on TV and that's what we're sold. Ooh. So, maybe the Russians and Americans are equal on this one. Because we perceive each other's presidents as, oh, they're terrible. And yet in our country, well, in America, not everybody in Russia agrees either. But, you know, jobs are going great in America. Money's flowing. It's not so bad. We got problems. Russia, money's flowing. People have jobs. People seem to be pretty happy. Ding. I did learn that the Russians do have some sort of socialized medicine that apparently works. Now, what we've got, I know I don't want to get into it. It obviously not working. It's working for some people in a few states, but most it's crushing. The Russians, they may actually have the upper hand on us. Now, am I saying socialized medicine is good? That's not my YouTube channel. But their selling point will just say equal, equal. It sounds like the Russians have the upper hand on that one. How the taxes work and how much money they have left, because they only have so much money left at the end of the month, I don't know. Russia and America, ooh, yeah, exactly. So see, just because the Russians are portrayed as evil, and at least my generation, Gen X and older, we thought of the wall, Russian military, that's all we saw. And we asked the kids, interestingly, what do you think of America? Oh, it's a great country. I always wanted to go there and work. I want to meet some of the people and the clients too. All the adults are like, man, we would love to visit your country, but it takes us 8 months to get a visa. We don't know if we can get a visa. For me, it took like a month, and I pretty much knew I was going to get my visa. There was no real worry about it. Interestingly, so Russians going to America, ka-ching, tough. Americans going to Russia, generally pretty easy. So equation there, equal, definitely not. So see, the people in Russia and the people in America and other places I've traveled about, they care about their family, their friends, their health, their livelihood, their home, and everything else, we squawk about it, but really the things that matter are the same in America as Russia. That was an excellent lesson that I learned from the group that I spoke with. A great experience. So just when you're seeing what's portrayed on television and, oh, this is horrible, from whatever political spectrum, here to here, that you exist on, the things you really care about, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your health, your home, everything else, even though we like to talk about it, it's the same in Russia. Highly educational. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Aaron Linsdau. Please like and comment on my video, subscribe to the channel. Please support me on my Patreon account or through PayPal. I would love to have your support on my channel. Thank you very much for watching.